Good evening, everybody. We're talking about severe weather that is in the forecast over the next couple of days. A strong cold front will bring some very cold air to the United States this week, but it's only a brief cool down as we'll warm things back up and bring back an active weather pattern by the middle of April. We'll look in the long range as well in this video. Hey, if you are here, make sure to subscribe to my channel for the latest accurate and reliable weather information on my channel by subscribing. Like the video, give it a thumbs up, especially because this gets all the information out to as many people as possible if you do press that like button, and share it with friends, family, and on social media. Definitely appreciate it. Let's get into the forecast. Here is the severe weather chances as we go through this evening. The Storm Prediction Center has a slight risk of severe weather from middle and southwest Georgia into southern Alabama and all the way into the northwest Florida Panhandle. Marginal risk of severe weather, a 1 out of 5 on the risk scale in dark green, up into the central and western Carolinas and southern Virginia. And we also have the threat for some winds with these storms. So we're looking at some 60-mile-per-hour winds, especially in this yellow shaded color parts of Georgia, southern Alabama, and northwestern Florida, followed by a still decent tornado chance as well. In the green, that's a 2% chance. In the brown, that is a 5% chance of tornadoes within a 25-mile radius. Montgomery is included in that, as well as Mobile in Alabama. So make sure you are wary of the weather pattern as we go through the afternoon and evening here. And make sure you are also watching out for the potential for hail. Even though it's less than 5%, I think there still could be some hailstones with these thunderstorms as we go through the evening hours. So let's look here at the radar depiction going through the evening. Notice we have a line of some showers and storms from the central and western Carolinas through Georgia into southeastern Alabama and entering into the northwest Florida Panhandle. This will continue to pivot very slowly to the east. A lot of these storms are going to be training over the same areas all the way through daybreak there on Monday. Notice there's really not a lot of an eastward push to these storms. So as the heavy rain continues to pile up in the same areas, flash flooding will also be a concern. So that will be another factor of the storm that we'll have to watch heading into overnight tonight and early Monday morning. Speaking of the new work week, on Monday, April 7th, is the severe weather outlook. Again, very similar areas, maybe just a touch further east. A slight risk of severe weather into South Carolina, Georgia, and North Florida for places like Charleston, into Savannah, Jacksonville, back to Gainesville and Tallahassee, including the Big Bend area of Florida. And the risk hazards that we're watching for tomorrow on Monday will be the 60 to 70 mile per hour wind gusts, especially in this yellow shaded color. We're also looking at another formidable chance for tornadoes. In the green, that's a 2%. In the brown, that's a 5% chance of tornadoes within a 25-mile radius. Wilmington, North Carolina, Myrtle Beach, Columbia, all the way down to Charleston, Savannah, Georgia, Jacksonville, back to Tallahassee, Gainesville, and the Big Bend area of Florida. And that could extend down just north of Tampa Bay, too, as we go through the day. And the hail threat is pretty low. Again, a 5% chance of those quarter-size hailstones as we go through the day on Monday. So picking it up here at daybreak on Monday, notice the storms will already continue to bring some heavy rainfall. So again, not only severe weather, but also flash flooding will be a concern with these storms as you're heading off to work or school down here in the southeast on Monday. This will slowly pivot its way further to the east. So it'll take some time before it reaches the eastern Carolinas, coastal Georgia, and North Florida, but it will reach those areas by the afternoon hours on Monday and especially the evening hours. And finally, once we get to Monday evening, the cold front will have a little bit more of a push to it, and this will push the shower activity and storm activity down into central and southern Florida and off the Carolina coast as we go into overnight there on Monday. Then finally on Tuesday, there's a very small area here, the Florida Keys, very far southern tip of Florida there, south of Miami, that has a marginal risk of some gusty winds and hail and maybe a waterspout threat as we go into Tuesday, April 8th, something we're keeping a very close eye on. As we zoom out the picture and show you the entirety of the United States, notice that's the only game in town for severe weather will be Tuesday, so we're going to be quieting down our weather pattern finally after Tuesday, April 8th. Now, before that happens, we talked about the potential for some flash flooding. Heavy rainfall lining up there from Virginia, the Carolinas, back into middle Georgia, especially southeastern Alabama and northwest Florida. A good 1 to 3 inches with some isolated 4 to 6 inch totals in here, especially with those highest totals just south of Atlanta into middle Georgia and southern and southeastern portions of Alabama, including the Montgomery area back to Mobile. That'll be the most concerned concerning area for some flash flooding overnight and going into the day on Monday. Now, looking to the north, we do have a cold side too, and this is going to bring some snow squalls, some snow showers to the Great Lakes and the Northeast. We look at the Great Lakes first here, up toward the UP of Michigan. Got some snow showers here this evening. That will continue to bring some snow showers across Lake Superior into Lake Michigan as well. Eastern Wisconsin, Green Bay down the lakefront to Milwaukee could have that as well. And then northern lower Michigan here, we're definitely seeing the potential for snow in places like Traverse City, and we're going to be continuing to watch that in Marquette, Michigan. And then we're going to see that continue on Monday with snow squalls across portions of the UP of Michigan, lower Michigan, eastern Wisconsin, northeast Illinois, including the Chicago metro there in Cook County, northern Indiana, and portions of northern Ohio, and then Erie, Pennsylvania as well. So a lot of areas seeing some snow squalls through the day on Monday, and it will be a wind whip snow as well, as winds will be screaming in out of the north right across the lakes, and that is definitely what we're going to be seeing with some lake effect and also some snow squalls. Now, looking at the northeast, we're going to see some fair share of snow as well. That won't enter the picture until after midnight into northern Pennsylvania and southern New York State, but areas like Scranton over here towards Albany, New York, and Buffalo, New York could be seeing some snow showers. And then as we go into places here on Monday further to the east, the I-95 corridor, Boston, Hartford, down there toward Albany, keeping an eye on the snowfall. Further north, Vermont, New Hampshire, and coastal Maine will also get in the wintry precipitation throughout the day on Monday, especially in the afternoon, and that'll continue into Monday night and even into Tuesday. Look how widespread the snow becomes in Maine, New Hampshire, Vermont, those areas as we go through Tuesday. This is the snowfall accumulation we can expect going through the middle of the week. This takes us through Wednesday, April 9th, and you can see a plowable snow for the UP of Michigan with some lake enhancement to that. Could be seeing up towards to 8 to 12 inches in some of these areas. A little bit lower of amounts the further south you go into lower Michigan. I think northern lower Michigan could see a fair share of around 1 to 3 inches worth of snow. Northern Pennsylvania looking at around 1 to 3, and much of New York State as well looking at 1 to 3 inches of snow. Heaviest snow will be across north central Maine. So Caribou up into those areas could be seeing potentially 6 to 10 inches worth of snow going through the middle of the week. But a plowable snow for Vermont, New Hampshire, and upstate New York as well on the order of 2 to 4 inches will be possible. Now, looking at the weather pattern as we go through the week, not only will we see precip chances, but the cold front will bring some colder air down with a trough as we go into the start of the work week as soon as tomorrow. Notice a pretty strong trough up here south of the Hudson Bay and into the Great Lakes region, and that's the driving force mechanism for the snowfall, but also the colder air going to be dropping southward time from Canada into the central and the eastern U.S. there on Monday. Let's look at the central U.S., especially the upper Midwestern regions. So we're talking the Dakotas, the Minnesota, Wisconsin, northern Iowa, the UP of Michigan, waking up tomorrow morning as you're heading off to work, heading off to school, into the teens and low 20s out here, and our wind chills will be down near zero in some areas, even below zero up into the Arrowhead of Minnesota. So if you are heading out to work or school, make sure to bundle up with a heavier jacket, may even need a winter jacket out there as we start the day on Monday. And looking across the east, not as cold for the Northeast and Ohio Valley, but still chilly here for this time of year, into the middle and upper 20s to low 30s across this region. The coldest of the air will be up there toward Maine, and our wind chills here, at least in the Northeast and the Ohio Valley, for a silver lining will be, at least it won't be as windy, so our wind chill values will be very close, mirroring our temperatures as we go into the start of the day on Monday. Out west, as you can imagine, in the higher elevations, yes, it'll start colder in the Rockies, but watch as we go into Monday afternoon. We're going to surge into the 60s and even low 70s all the way up into southern Alberta, into southwest Saskatchewan, even Montana seeing that. If you want some even warmer weather, go down to Phoenix and Flagstaff. Those areas will be down into the 70s and 80s, and even 90 there in parts of far southern California and Death Valley, so definitely watching out for that. Now, going through the rest of the week, the colder air will hang around, but it will become less potent as the week goes on. It'll be also shifting further off to the east. Here's Wednesday, going in now to Thursday and Friday. Notice the greens aren't as widespread. It's more the blues and eventually the whites there. That's near normal to slightly below normal temperatures. So as the week goes on, the temperatures will start to moderate. And the good news is our precipitation chances, where we had the very heavy rainfall, right, in Kentucky, Tennessee, and Arkansas, we see the brown here. That means below normal precipitation chances as we go through the new work week all the way leading up until the following weekend here on the 12th and 13th, Saturday, Sunday of the middle of April. Now, we do see some green up here in the Northeast and the Mid-Atlantic. That means some above normal precip is expected, so we're going to watch a new storm system. We pick it up here on Wednesday, moving across the Midwest. So Des Moines, Chicago, St. Louis could be seeing some showers, perhaps a few embedded thunderstorms with that on Wednesday. I do suspect that area is going to see more rain versus thunderstorms just due to the fact that the temperatures are a lot cooler, not really a lot of instability. But as we go into Thursday, that shifts off to the east into the Mid-Atlantic, and then Friday, Saturday, and Sunday just looks like a very soaking rain across the Northeast and Mid-Atlantic here, especially for the weekend. So Saturday the 12th of April, Sunday the 13th of April looks like a weekend to stay indoors across the Northeast next weekend. And we could be seeing some pretty decent rainfall totals. So you can see all the rain across the U.S. where it'll be very dry, I want to add, for the desert Southwest and the central and southern plains. So we're barely going to see a drop of rain in those areas. But as we zoom into the Northeast here, Maine, Vermont, New Hampshire, New York State, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, into Connecticut here, eastern Pennsylvania, including the Poconos region, New Jersey, Maryland, Delaware, all the way down to Virginia and West Virginia. Yeah, a lot of these states here going to be picking up multiple inches of rain for the weekend. When it's all said and done, could be around 2 to 3 inches here with the soaking rain. Now, heading into the middle of April, or at least the third week of April here, between Monday, April 14th and Saturday, April 19th, going to be seeing a ridge that's centered across the west this week, bringing warmer temperatures out there. We showed you that will start to flex its muscles a little bit further to the east into at least the southeast United States. A little bit of some active weather over the top. The apex of that ridge going to have a trough moving across and trough spring active weather. But looking first at the temperature anomalies during that time frame between the 14th and 19th of April, those temperatures that are cool this week will be moderating next week. So we're going to introduce 60s and 70s back into the picture for the plains, the Midwest, and parts of the Southeast as we go into that third week of April. Now, we are watching a storm signal during this time frame, a weaker storm to start that week on the 14th, 15th, but a stronger storm may be possible, and this could bring more heavy rain and severe weather potential to the central and eastern U.S. by the 18th, 19th, and then into the 20th of April. And this is something we're going to have to keep an eye on, because look at the areas in play here. We got Missouri, Arkansas, and in western Tennessee, some of those areas in the epicenter of this model, at least this ensemble average of where the heaviest precipitation will be. And we did just mention that these areas did have a lot of precipitation just with our last recent system, over a foot of rain, up to 18, 20 inches in some areas. So we need to dry out, and unfortunately the signal is not looking good here as we get into the third week of April. Thank y'all for watching. We'll continue to keep you updated on the latest weather information. Another video coming out tomorrow as well to update you on all this, so make sure to subscribe to my channel for the latest accurate, reliable weather information. Certainly like the video, give it a thumbs up, and share this video with friends, family, and on social media. I definitely appreciate it. Hey folks, my merch store is now live on my YouTube channel. You can just go to the store tab on my YouTube channel, click on that, and you can go to the store, and I have t-shirts, long sleeve shirts on there. You guys also have stickers, coffee mugs, etc. So go on there, check it out. We're going to be adding items to that over the next several days, so be going back frequently and looking for newer items. Definitely appreciate that as well. Thank y'all for joining, and have a wonderful and safe rest of your week out there.